we are looking at source document number 1. Remember, at stages 1 and 2, you get 2 source documents to read, and at stage 3, you get 3. So this one now, styles of 20th and 21st century music. The 20th century was a time of experimentation in music. As travel became more accessible, cities became more multicultural, which led to the development of new types of music. Because of the recording industry, various types of music became easily circulated, and different musical styles, now common in the 21st century, began to appear. Now we have classical. Classical composers at the beginning of the 20th century rejected the romanticism of the late 19th century. Types of early 20th century classical music included Impressionism, Expressionism, and Neoclassicism. In the 21st century, many serious classical composers experiment with different techniques, while others have returned to a more conservative style. Jazz. At the beginning of the 20th century, New Orleans was one of the most cosmopolitan cities in the United States and where jazz began. The music we know today as jazz was a mix of many musical styles, including blues, Latin American music, and opera. The earliest jazz musicians were African Americans, but it was a white jazz band, the Dixieland Jazz Band, which made the first recordings and brought jazz to an international audience. Since the Second World War, many different styles of jazz emerged, including bebop, cool jazz, hard bop, and fusion. The blues. The blues is a genre of music developed in the southern U.S. from fieldwork songs, gospel songs, and rhythmic dance. This became widespread after the Civil War. At the turn of the 20th century, many regional styles of blues were found throughout the American South. The blues would be a key ingredient in jazz and rock music. Rock and roll. Rock and roll developed from several musical styles, including country, rhythm and blues, and classic blues. Although the origins of rock and roll cannot be traced to one single person, it is generally accepted by historians that rock and roll began in 1954. This is when disc jockeys started to play shows aimed at teenage audiences. These shows featured music by Chuck Berry, Little Richard, and a little later, Elvis Presley. Rock and roll spread to Europe, especially England, during the 1960s. Now, in the 21st century, there are many genres of rock and roll, but they can all be traced to the styles developed by artists such as Chuck Berry. And we have come to the end of source document number 1. Now remember, you may read the source document and not have a full understanding of it, but read it through its entirety to get an understanding of what it is about, or to just have a knowledge of what it is about. And then you may go back and do a second reading now. Go a little slower the second time, go paragraph by paragraph, and try to absorb as much information as you possibly can. And notice that one of the dominant organizational features used is the subheadings. All right, so that's quite beneficial. Now we go to the section 1, right, and we're going to look at the different activities. So it values 28 marks, and you are to read the documents in the source booklet and answer the following questions. So we just read one of the documents. So first sample question, how would you describe document 1? Now that you're familiar with it, how would you describe it? You are to tick the correct answer, and if you do that, you earn 1 mark. So is it an informative article? Is it an advertising feature? Is it a concert program or a review of a musical? Now, if you can't answer the question, you're simply going to reread and try to find evidence to support each of them. If you can't find evidence that it's an advertising feature, you know you can't choose B, and you do the same and you go through the entire process. Now, having gone through the process, you will realize that it's an informative article, right? It's an expository piece that's just giving you information. Next one says, what led to developments in musical styles during the 20th century? You earn 1 mark. Now, you could have said many things, but you only need to give 1. So you could say accessible travel, you'd have earned your 1 mark. But you could also have said cosmopolitan cities, the recording industry, or rejection of romanticism. All right, so you have many options, but you simply just need to give 1 and earn your 1 mark. This one says, give 2 styles of classical music common in the 20th century, right? And you'll earn 2 marks for doing this correctly. There are 3 styles. You simply need to give 2. So we have Impressionism and Expressionism, and you could have mentioned also Neoclassicism, just 2 of the 3. All right, so I'm showing you all of your options and then advising you to only give them the 2 that they have asked for. This question says, which city is considered to be the birthplace of jazz? And this is a simple recall question. It's a right there question. So if you have forgotten, simply go back to that section of the source document and your answer is right there. And make sure you're writing the name of a place. It's a proper noun. Make sure you use your capital letters, right, appropriately. And you earn your 1 mark. It is New Orleans. Next one says, give 2 categories of music from which blues music evolved, right? So from which blues music came. So we have fieldwork songs, we have gospel songs, we have rhythmic dance. So we have 3, right? But they only need 2, so we choose any of the 2. And in this case, fieldwork songs and gospel songs, and you have earned your 2 marks right there. Of course, this is an image, and all the source documents will have images, all right? Sometimes the images are labeled, sometimes they are not, but the images are related to the text, okay? So which genre of music do you associate with the image, right? So when you think about the different styles of music mentioned in the source document, which one would you associate with this image? And of course, it is classical music, and you have earned 1 mark. Now this activity says in the box below you're to underline the 3 main points made in the text. So we're focusing on main idea now. The 3 most important things the writer said, and then you would have the support for these 3 important things. So we have changes over the centuries. Yes, we got a lot of information on the changes. We have 19th century romanticism. We have development of South American music, promoting teenage audiences, Civil War influences, development of musical genres, different types of music, yes, and combination of musical styles, how we combine different styles to come up with a new type of music. So the 3 are underlined, okay? So the examiner wants to know that you have the ability to identify main ideas. Next one says, why have subheadings been used in the text? So this is talking about organizational features now. Just give 1 reason, right? So you could say the subheadings make it easier for us to read the material, or they make clear what the paragraph is about, or they present a different topic, right? So each subheading signals a different topic, and you earn a mark. Now this one says, in your own words, write the meaning of the highlighted word cosmopolitan. So even though you're going to have the dictionary in the exam with you, the dictionary that you will take in the exam with you, the examiner does not want the dictionary definition. So you can paraphrase, right, the definition that you have found in the dictionary, or simply read the passage or read the paragraph or read the sentence that has the word and see how best you can define the word using your own words. All right, so it simply means including people from different countries. This question is tied to the one that just went. It says, which adjective in the same paragraph has the same meaning as cosmopolitan? So we're looking at similarities now of meaning, and in this case it is international, and you would have earned your 1 mark. All right, and if you're not sure, you would have had your thesaurus in the exam with you as well. So if you look up cosmopolitan in the thesaurus, you would see international, and then you also find international in the same paragraph. According to document 1, what do historians agree on? And they do agree that rock and roll began in 1954. So there are some things that they didn't agree on, but this particular one they did agree on was the time period, so 1954. And this one says, who, focus on that, who was the target audience for music by Chuck Berry and Little Richard? Who? Of course, teenagers, and that's another literal level question as well. All right, so you would have answered all your questions correctly on source document 1, and then you go ahead now and read source document 2. And you can also read the questions before you actually read the source documents, so that when you are reading the source documents, you know exactly what to look for. All right. This one now, remember the theme is the world of music. So this one, entertainment arts competition. So it's all about music because that was the theme for that particular year. The Jamaican Festival Song Competition is widely recognized on the Jamaican musical landscape as a major stepping stone in the careers of many Jamaican artists who have gone on to achieve success and international recognition. This year, the Jamaica Festival Song Competition is on a mission to engage young, talented Jamaicans to create songs that invoke a spirit of celebration with international appeal and relevance. The Jamaica Festival Song Competition can be described as the greatest means of musical expression for national patriotism through the union of songwriters, singers, and producers. The Jamaican Gospel Competition was introduced by the Jamaica Cultural Development Commission in 1987, developing and showcasing the best of Jamaican culture to include the popular area of gospel. The competition quickly became a powerful presentation of indigenous gospel music in Jamaica. From the start, it has attracted numerous artists, producers, and songwriters of original gospel music. The finalists in both the Jamaican Festival Song and the Jamaican Gospel Song competitions will be involved in the production of a musical album, press interviews, and an island-wide tour before the big night of the final competition. In addition, finalists will also benefit from increased marketing and public relations support to be provided by the Commission. Over the years, the festival and gospel song competitions have been responsible for developing the careers of many well-known artists, including Ernie Smith, Lubert Levy, George Gordon, Toots Hibbert, Glacier Robinson, Becento, Kevin Downswell, Cargo, Karen Ennis, and Leigh. Entry forms for this year's competitions, along with the relevant rules, are available for collection at the JCDC head office located at 3 to 5 Phoenix Avenue, Kingston 10. All JCDC parish offices island-wide, or apply online at www.jcdc.gov.jm. And that takes us to the end of source document number 2. So let's go to our questions now. Now, the instruction says, read source document 2 in the source booklet and answer the following questions. Always make sure that you pay attention to the instruction and that you read the relevant document. Tick the correct answer. Document 2 is it a religious text? Do we have any evidence to say that it is a religious text? No. Is it a musical review? No. Is it a promotional text? Yes, it's promoting JCDC competitions, right? And we have the evidence to support this. Is it a government report? No. So remember that when you're trying to identify the type of document, you have to look at the evidence. So C is our answer. We have ticked and we have earned a mark. Next one says, what is seen as a stepping stone for Jamaican artists in their career progression? You earn a mark for answering correctly, right? And it is the Jamaica Festival Song Competition. So it is seen as a stepping stone. Now, which verb could replace the word invoke in the text? And you will earn a mark. And you're to tick the correct answer. And we can just scroll down to look at how it was used. So it says this year, the Jamaican Festival Song Competition is on a mission to engage young, talented Jamaicans to create songs that invoke a spirit of celebration with international appeal and relevance. If you have your thesaurus in the exam and you can't figure it out from the context, then you use your thesaurus. So we go back to our question. Which verb could replace the word invoke? Is it raise, quote, appeal, or consult? And based on how it is used, it is raise, all right? So you're raising a spirit of celebration with international appeal and relevance. Another simple literal level question. When did the Jamaican Gospel Competition begin? Easy question, you should never ever get this one wrong. The year 1987. This one says, give 2 benefits for the finalists of the song competition. There are many benefits, right? So give only 2. So I've put all the benefits there, and the ones I would have used: involvement in the production of a musical album or press interviews. Now, why have commas? We've spoken about commas and the function that the commas play. So why have commas been used in the final paragraph? What purpose do they serve, right? And they are used to list the artists' names, or you could say to separate the names of the artists, and you earn a mark. How can musicians and artists enter the competition? Well, there are three ways really. They can complete a form, they can collect a form, and they can apply online. The mere fact that this values 1 mark means that you just need to give 1 response. Identify 1 organizational feature used in the document. Now remember that sometimes you're going to see organizational feature and sometimes you will just see feature. It's the same thing, right? So one of the features is images. Another one you could have said block capitals or color. Yes, color is a feature. Or bold text or different fonts. In this case, I have chosen images. Look at the follow-up question. Why has the feature been used? So the feature that you just chose, all right? So images, so the image has been used to provide a visual representation of the topic or a visual representation of the main idea. Remember, all of us learn differently, right? So the image or the picture provides that visual representation of what we're talking about or what we're writing about. If it were block capitals, you would say it is used to grab the reader's attention. If it were color, you could say because it is visually appealing. If it were bold text, you could say to highlight important words or subheadings. And if it were different fonts, you could say to highlight important words or phrases or subheadings. So it's good to know the organizational features, and it's also good to know that the purpose they serve. Now we go to the extended writing task. So you would have completed section 1 and we're now on to section 2. Values, the 1 writing task values 28 marks. So you want to make sure that you earn as many marks as possible. You are to write an article or a blog about different styles of music. If you're not sure what a blog is, I'll tell you in a little while. But if you're not sure what it is in the exam and you're not comfortable with it, stick to the article that you know about, right? Think about all the newspaper articles that you have read before and write a similar one, okay? So City and Guilds, of course, is going to provide you with some help, right? So you are going to get some prompts, some things that you need to think about and write about. And if you follow these prompts, if you follow this kind of scaffolding that is offered, then you will do extremely well. So think about popular music genres in Jamaica, the different types of popular music in Jamaica, musical influences from other parts of the world, how music has changed in the last century, and your views on the future of music. Where do you think music is going or should go? You may use information from source documents 1 and 2. City and Guilds is very kind to you. But the article or the blog must be in your own words. So pick out those main points and paraphrase them. And of course, your word limit is 200 to 300 words at the stage 2 level. All right, so you'll be tested on how you plan your writing, using the correct format and structure for the article or the blog, using suitable language and level of detail, right? And remember that details are very, very important. Writing clearly, using appropriate sentence structure, grammar, punctuation, and spelling, and presenting information in a logical order, and definitely using paragraphs appropriately. Remember, we go in our new line and we indent the first line of the paragraph. Now, what is a blog? You may be asking, right? Now, there are many reasons to start a blog. So we'll start with that first and then I'll give you the definition. There are many reasons to start a blog for personal use and only a handful of strong ones for business blogging. Blogging for business, projects, or anything else that might bring you money has a very straightforward purpose. So the straightforward purpose is to rank your website higher in the Google SERPs and to increase your visibility, to get you out there so that the world knows you and know what you have to offer. Now, as a business, you rely on consumers to keep buying your products and services, right? That's how you make money. As a new business, you rely on blogging to help you get to these customers and grab their attention. If I can get your attention, I can get you to buy, right? Without blogging, your website would remain invisible, whereas running a blog makes you searchable and competitive. So the main purpose of a blog is to connect you to the relevant audience. Another one is to boost your traffic and send quality leads to your website. Very, very important. So that's the blog. And you can go on the internet. Not only can you read up more about blogs, but there are many videos on the internet, right, that give you information about blogs. They explain to you what blogs are and how to write the blogs. Now let's talk about the structure of the blog, right? The appearance of blogs change over time, and nowadays blogs include different items. but most blogs include some standard features and structure. And here are some common features that a typical blog will include. So we have the header with the menu or navigation bar. Then we have the main content area with highlighted or the latest blog posts. So that's the main area where you get the bulk of your information. And then you have the sidebar. Remember, sidebar is an organizational feature, right? Then you have the sidebar with social profiles, favorite content, or call to action, all right? And then you have the footer with relevant links like a disclaimer, privacy policy, or the contact page. Very, very important. But as I said, if you are not comfortable writing the blog, if you've never written one before and you go in the exam and you see the blog and you're not comfortable with it, then you write the article. But guess what? You're learning about blogs now, right? And it's highly likely that you're learning about blogs in your online classes as well. So practice to write a few blogs.